So good morning, I'm Mr. Balducci, and today our professional development session is going to be on improving classroom management and student engagement. Now, I'm not one of those who likes to just waste time talking about something that's not going to help you in the classroom, but I think that we can all agree that these are some of the most important concepts in the classroom, and my hope today is to be able to help you be able to take these strategies that we're going to talk about today in our professional development session and apply them in your classroom to help have a healthy environment in which students from all walks of life are going to be able to succeed. So today, we're going to talk about three things. Those three things are student engagement or student management tips for elementary, middle, and high school. All right, and that's going to include a combination of the three, but there's even going to be some concepts in here that all three, elementary, middle, and high, will be able to apply in their classroom. Next, guiding behavior in the classroom. Okay, I have a troubled student. How am I going to be able to guide that student in the classroom to be able to make effective changes in his or her life so that they're able to do what they need to do in the classroom and hopefully be able to even teach them some lessons about life moving forward. And then number three, strategies for increasing student engagement and learning. Okay, so how are we going to be able to increase student engagement and learning to be able to help our kids succeed and to be able to help them out on standardized testing, but even more importantly than that, to be able to help them grow as individuals in life. All right, so we're not just worried about necessarily doing well on a score sheet, but how well are we going to help them to become better human beings, better contributors to society, better citizens here in America. So first, classroom management and student engagement are the most important aspects of 21st century education. All right, now I put this little funny meme up here that classroom management, overrated. Pass out candy instead. All right, maybe candy's a good way to be able to keep your kids quiet sometimes. Maybe not after the fact, but anyways, the point is, humor aside, classroom management is an essential tool to helping teachers have a great environment, but also helping your students. Okay? Having a structured environment where your students understand the expectations and understand the rules is ultimately going to lead to you having a successful classroom. Okay? It's when there's no structure, when there's a breakdown in structure, a breakdown in the rules aren't enforced, that's when you run into issues with the breakdown in student behavior in the classroom. All right. So relationships with our students is critical to success in today's classroom, and I put a little funny picture up here of Iron Man and Spider-Man in Avengers to help kind of realize what a relationship with our students is like. Okay, so what should our relationship with students be like? Well, we should get to know them. We should get to know them, know their background, know a little bit about them, because we're not really going to be able to address their needs and to be able to communicate with them the way that we should if we really don't know who our students are. Okay? So develop a relationship with them. That doesn't mean that you become their friend. That doesn't mean that you let them do whatever it is that they want to do in order to make them happy. But you understand who they are. You understand what life challenges they might be going through. You understand what their background is like. That way you know how to address them better in the classroom and even outside the classroom. When you come across them in the hallway, or maybe you come across them in public. Teaching is one of those things that it's almost a 24-hour job, because if you come across these students in public, they're going to know who you are, and the way that you address them and the way that you act towards them is equally as important as how you would address them in the classroom. Okay, so classroom management engagement for elementary, middle, and high school. So number one, first, use different color dry erase markers when writing words. This is something that applies for the K through 6. Okay, helping increase student engagement in the classroom for kids this young. They're going to you're going to get more of their attention if you're using things that are colorful. Changes, like one word is green, the next word's yellow, the next one's red and blue. That's going to help draw their attention in. Okay, color has actually been proven as a learning tool. It actually helps the kids to retain information better when they have when their notes or when their work is actually different colors. And that's actually proven to be able to do that. All right, this is something that can apply to all three, using visual props. Okay, using visual props, pictures, Memes like what I just used earlier here, that helps student engagement to improve in the classroom. And part of the relationship part is knowing what your students like. So if I know that I have a bunch of students who like Justice League or they like Avengers, then maybe I can incorporate some of those props into the classroom that relates to what I'm trying to teach them, because it's going to help draw their attention in. Okay, if it's something that they're interested in, something out there, whether it's movies or whatever the case may be, that draws their attention in, then that's gonna help them engage in the information that I'm trying to teach them. All right, number 3. Ask your classroom to collectively recount the series of steps and directions you have provided for a lesson. Okay, so have them recite to you basically the rules, the directions, whatever it is you're doing in your lesson. Have them recite those things back to you to help you know that they're engaged. And that helps also engage them in the material that you're learning, or that they're learning, that you're trying to teach them. Okay? Number 4. Research shows longer periods of written work assignment time can lead to discipline issues, so schedule these types of lessons to 20 minutes or less. So what I like to tell teachers in the math department, being that I came in the math department, is that something that I learned is that what you should do is that typically a lesson should be maybe 10, 15 minutes. You show them what they're to do, and then you release them to do their own thing. All right? So that might come in the form of giving them some written work, because in math you can't really avoid that. You might show them what to do and then have them go on to Prodigy. Our math teachers typically know what Prodigy is, or go on to ClassCraft, which is a student engagement website that you can incorporate into your subject area. All right. But general lessons, lecture, try to keep those to 20 minutes or less, because typically after that 20 minutes, what research shows is that you're going to lose the students. The discipline issues are going to increase, their engagement is going to fall off. If you keep the lessons to about 10 or 15 minutes generally, and then you release them to do their thing, whatever work you have them doing in class, that's going to lead typically to less discipline issues. Right? That doesn't mean that you're not going to have any discipline issues, because there's going to be some students that are going to give you discipline issues regardless. But at least this can help draw down some of the issues that you would typically have in your classroom. Okay. Number 6, visually displaying students' positive and negative behaviors. Okay? So, when a student does something positive, reward it. Make sure other kids see that. That way they know, okay, if I do this behavior A, then Mr. Balducci or whomever is going to reward that behavior. So make it known what positive behavior looks like. But then equally as important, make sure that they know what negative behavior looks like and how you discipline negative behavior. All right, you do want to have a deterrent in place to make sure the kids know, okay, if I do action A, then Mr. Balducci is going to come down on me about that. That's not obviously appropriate to do in the classroom. So make sure that your students know what positive behavior looks like and what negative behavior looks like. And one of the great ways to do that is by displaying that in yourself. Give them a model of what positive behavior looks like. Show them in your own actions what positive behavior looks like. Be an example to your students. Okay? At the elementary level, something you can use is color-coded charts with clothespins. All right, I know you can use the red card, the yellow card, the green card for certain behavior issues there. In middle school, all right, maybe a token system would work well. Where students get tokens for good behavior, they get tokens taken away for bad behavior, or other consequences for bad behavior. But you give them a token if they do something well, and then maybe have at the end of the 9 weeks or at the end of a semester have a little store thing in your classroom where they can spend tokens on candy or other prizes to reward their good behavior. That way they know, if I do good in the classroom, then these are the sorts of things that are going to happen for me in Mr. Balducci's classroom or wherever else. Number 7, maximizing proximity control. What that means is that I'm moving around the classroom as a teacher, all right? My students feel that my presence is around. They know that I am involved in the classroom. So part of student engagement in the classroom also means that the teacher's engaged. If the teacher is just sitting at his desk and not doing anything, then how can you expect that the students to be engaged in the class and in their work? If you're moving around the classroom, if you are analyzing student work and walking around and they feel that you're there and they know that you're there, that's going to help with student engagement. Okay, maximizing your proximity control, moving around the classroom, moving around all the areas of the classroom, being in one section of the classroom and then another. All right, making sure that your presence is known in the classroom. All Right? Walking around the classroom, making sure your presence is there. Okay. Number 8, set guidelines and stick to them. Okay. Day 1, you set guidelines, you stick to them, and you let the students know this is how things are going to be in our classroom. Okay. Number 9, get parents involved from the start. Okay. Reach out to parents first. Don't let yourself be the one, or don't put yourself in a position where the parent is reaching out to you first. Reach out to them first. Let them know what your goals are, what your expectations are, what you want for their child, how you're trying to help their child, not just in school, but also as people, trying to help their kids improve and become better people and better students. All right? And then also from day 1, number 10, build relationships with your students. Okay, cannot tell you how important that is, especially in the 21st century classroom. Building relationships with your students pays off because they respond to you better. If you have no relationship with your students, it's kind of hard to get them to follow your expectations if you don't know who they are. Build relationships with them. Use behavior modification techniques. I've already touched on this a little bit with the token system that you can use in like middle school, the red card, yellow card, green card that you can use in elementary school. PBIS incentives, you can pretty much use those in all 3, elementary, middle, and high. Localities where I'm from, Amelia, Chesterfield, they have PBIS incentives. Not all schools may have that, but that is a very valuable way to help with classroom management. And basically, for those of you who don't know what it is, PBIS incentives, basically, student does good, has a positive behavior, teacher reports it, principal or maybe an acting dean puts them into the PBIS system, and therefore they might get things like they get to go to whatever lunch they want to go to. They get recess time during a certain time of the day, gym time. They get rewarded in those sorts of ways to help promote positive behavior in the classroom. All right. Okay, strategies for increasing student engagement. Spend the first 3 to 5 minutes of class talking with your students. Okay, you obviously don't want to dig into instruction time. You don't want to hurt the instruction that students would get by just talking to them and, talking about whatever it is that you talk with them. You don't want to dig into the instruction time, but you can still take the first 3 to 5 minutes of class and talk with your students. Things that aren't related necessarily to school. You can ask them how their day is going, or you can talk sports with them very briefly, or whatever it is that comes up in conversation. But that could be a key to helping you form a relationship with your kids. Okay? Relationship is a key ingredient to student engagement. Right? My kids know that I'm going to engage with them. If they know I care about them, then they're going to respond. Okay, students will respond. Not all of them will respond positively. Again, not every kid, unfortunately, is going to come into the classroom and be, a model citizen. But this can help formulate a way to, maybe not right away, but getting that student to follow instructions, do what it is they're supposed to do. Okay, another strategy for student engagement is to keep your attitude fresh and interested in the lesson. Okay, if I'm sitting up here and I'm, talking monotone and this is how I'm instructing my kids, you can't expect them to be interested. If you are up though and you're moving and you're showing that you're interested in the lesson and you are keeping your attitude fresh, positive, that can help your kids' attitudes, because kids' attitudes can feed off your attitude in the classroom. If you're not doing what you're supposed to be doing in the classroom as far as keeping your attitude fresh and that you're interested and involved in the lesson, you can't expect your kids to be able to do the same thing. Alright? Create opportunities for hands-on learning. Okay? Kids love to work with their hands. Alright? That's the way that they're made. That's the way God made them. Alright? Work with their hands. And so the more hands-on activities that you can give them that relates to the content that you're trying to teach them, the better. Okay? The better that they're going to grasp it. They're going to grasp that a lot better than working on a worksheet. Okay? So if you are able to create hands-on activities where they are up and they're working and they're engaging with each other, engaging in activity hands-on, and they're seeing it with their eyes, that's going to help. It's going to help, and that's going to go along with this. Number 3, give students the opportunity to share their thoughts, ideas, and opinions on a topic. Okay? If you've ever tried talking to a middle schooler, that's where I come from. If you've ever tried talking to a middle schooler, they will not hesitate to share their thoughts with you. They will not hesitate to share ideas with you. Find something that they're interested in, and they will talk your head off about it. Most students will. You do have your quiet ones, but a lot of them will, and you'll see that interest on their face when you start talking about that. Okay? On a topic, on a subject, get their feedback. Let them know that you are interested in what it is that is on their mind, and if you are interested in their feedback on a certain topic that they're learning about. Right, number 4, provide frequent feedback and be specific when complimenting a student on something they've accomplished. Okay, so instead of telling a child, good job, okay, tell them, great job for making a 100 on this test. You showed that you knew everything about this topic, okay? And let them know specifically what it is that you're complimenting them on. That's a great job that you helped that child in the hallway pick up their books. That's a great job that you told that person that the language that they were using towards another student was bullying. Okay, let them know specifically what you're complimenting them on. That way they have no doubt in their minds the correct behavior that they did themselves. Okay, remember, classroom management is critical in any classroom, no matter what the subject. Even in gym class, even when you're in the gym, classroom management is important. You can't force a child to learn or obey all your instructions. However, you can do your part to provide every avenue for a child to choose the right path. Okay? So what I put here, the picture I have here is right decision, wrong decision. Okay? One thing that I like to do, one thing I tell teachers, give your child the opportunity to succeed or fail. Tell them, your decision here, here's the right path, here's the wrong path. Now you make a choice. Okay? I like giving my students a choice, and if they choose the wrong path, then they will get disciplined and they'll understand that making that wrong choice caused them to get disciplined. But if they choose the right path, then I reward them. Okay? Right. Make sure that you do your part to give them every avenue to succeed. Okay? In the end, they're going to make the choice whether to succeed or fail. But give them that opportunity. Okay? Give them the opportunity to succeed or fail on their own. Sometimes kids just have to learn. Sometimes kids have to learn the hard way. They have to make a wrong turn in order for them to learn. Because you don't always learn from succeeding. You learn from some of the mistakes that you made or some of the wrong choices that you made. That's how you learn. The kids need to be able to learn. So make sure you provide them every avenue, every opportunity to choose the right path. And if they choose the wrong path, then you go forward from there. If they choose the right path, you compliment them. Any questions? So this is why classroom management is extremely important, because the health of your classroom, the success of your students is going to depend upon student engagement and classroom management. And these are like I said, these are the two most important, or some of the most important concepts that a teacher needs to be able to embrace in the classroom. Thank you, guys.